Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 21st of November. It's 2025. And, I keep telling you, it's not coming. It's here. It's happening. Well, another step has occurred. If you recall, I think last week or the week before, myself and many others mentioned that large institutions, BlackRock, Blackstone, Palantir, all the major players started suddenly selling off massive shares of Bitcoin. And now, all of a sudden, Bitcoin's crashing. What a strange thing, right? What a weird thing. Well, if you remember a while back, I can't find it. It's on BitChute someplace. Or Richie from Boston TV, but I can't find the video I did on this kid. But there's a guy named Max Azzarello. You might remember him because he set himself on fire outside of Trump's court cases. Well, that's what they tell us. That's the story. And he also wrote something called the Ponzi Papers. So I want you to listen to this because this is important, very important. They're doing this. This isn't happening. They tied, through the Genius Act, they managed to tie the dollar to stablecoin, which is tied to Bitcoin. I've told you from day one, do not touch Bitcoin whatsoever at all. And here we go. The cows have come home to roost, so to speak. And, well, that was weird, at any rate. Check this out. This is the website, the Ponzi Papers, and he set everything up right here. This entire PDF resource, Substack, tells you everything that they're doing. And the weird thing is this guy right here isn't some random dude. You know what I mean? He was tied in. Every time you see him, he's showing pictures with the one-eye symbolism. Not once, many, many times. There's pictures of him with very famous people, politicians, things like that, etc. But here's the deal. Externalization of the hierarchy. They have to show us what they're doing, and they have been all along. But how many people even knew about this? Do you know what I mean? How many people even knew about his YouTube channel? Because he posted this a year ago, and it's got 176 subscribers. That's pretty lame. And I mean, I even told people about this, and nobody cared. Nobody cared whatsoever at all. But I'll tell you what he was warning about is literally happening right now in real time. This is how they crashed the dollar and reset everything. He even explains what they are. It's where I got the word last year, kleptocracy, because I never knew what it meant. But kleptocracy is when you live in a government where everybody that's in there is a con man, and all they're doing is basically stealing every single solitary thing of value, and then they're going to go into their underground bunkers, and then they're going to pull the trigger, and it looks like they're going to do it this winter. Remember the dark winter? I can't stop saying that because from a military standpoint, the wintertime in the United States is the worst time. I mean, come on, man. We got snow in Nevada, out in the desert. My bad. We got snow out in Arizona where they don't get snow. But here's the funny thing. Even the news media is trying to get ahead of it because it's obviously not natural in any way whatsoever at all. Listen to this. This is insane.
Take a look at this, how crazy. This is actually spread out all throughout the area in the parking lot. I want to see what Ginger thinks of this, but it's not snow. It's obviously a little bit different. I mean, we expect that this is hail. So this is literally everywhere, and it is freezing to touch. So yeah, hopefully Ginger can tell us what exactly that is, if it's not hail, if it's maybe some sort of mixture of that. But we're not exactly sure when the mall is supposed to reopen again. We've actually reached out to the Phoenix Fire Department to try to get that information. And as soon as we know that information, we'll be bringing that to you. But we're live here in Phoenix. Troy Lynch, 12 News, Today in AZ.
Okay, Troy, so this is Ginger, and I want you to pick up some of that hail once again. Can you pick it up? Yeah. All right. Does it feel like Dippin' Dots? You know Dippin' Dots?
Yes.
Okay, that's
feels and
grapple.
Looks like Dippin' Dots.
Yeah. Okay, so that's grapple. It's frozen precipitation. It's a little more slushy than hail, but it is not snow. So hail, same thing. Even though it's frozen precipitation, you can really tell when it's grapple versus hail because it's breaking apart and it's slushy. And I always like to say to people, it's got the consistency of Dippin' Dots. There you go, grapple. Say it with me.
Grapple.
There we go. Very good. I love it.
That's cool.
So they damn well know that people are figuring out that the stuff that fell from the sky causing all sorts of chaos out in the desert isn't snow. So they're going to call it Dippin' Dots. a man-made concoction that people consume. Well, this is Arizona right here, and you can see all the lasers are shooting right out of the middle of this storm right here. So they're creating havoc right now while they're crashing the Bitcoin, which will destroy the dollar. Do you even understand what this means? I can't say it any more alarmist without alarming you, but they're doing this. This is happening right now. So everything you've got planned, start planning on what's going to happen if you wake up tomorrow or the day after and everything's shut down. I mean, this week we just saw them literally shut down Down Detector, AWS, Amazon, all the major websites. They're doing this. This is how it's got to be done. The strange noises in the skies that people think is drilling underground is actually them testing out for the Project Bluebeam or whatever they're calling it. But the fake alien invasion, the Freemasons and the Illuminati are going to pull on us because they're going to pull it on us. They're testing. Everything's coming together right now. We're literally, I just said this face to face to somebody yesterday. My name isn't anywhere in the Bible at all, but all of our names are in the end of the Bible. This is, we're going to see revelations. This is insanity. And I find it strange that Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, two of the biggest people involved in this entire thing, are both married to men. And one of them claims to be a very well-researched Christian who's always worried about the Antichrist, even though the Palantir system that they built is exactly what the Antichrist would need, so that it would have eyes and ears every place like God. Because it can't do what God does, so it has to replace it. And it can't build it itself. It has to have man build it for him. And Peter Thiel and the CIA, because Peter Thiel didn't build this, he's just the name on it. This is the government, the same government that killed MLK, JFK, 9/11, Sandy, everything that's ever happened, these guys did it. They're the same guys behind Palantir. It's just evil minions are getting incredibly wealthy, bringing around the demise of humanity. And it's happening. This is literally happening right now. But let me get into this kid a little bit more. Max Azzello, whatever it was. They're ramping things up. They're ramping this up, and everybody's freaking out right now. All these millionaires are going to be completely 100% dead broke. But the worst part is so are we. So are we. That's a huge drop right there. But it's all by design, and it was all laid out right here. I just thought we had a little bit more time. But like I've said so very many times, they're doing this. This is happening right now, and winter is the best time. The only thing in the world. Now, does it make sense? Does it make any sense now? Well, I've been telling you, get your money out of the bank. What is gold and silver going to be worth? Well, gold and silver is going to be worth everything because it's all it's ever been worth anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to destroy the dollar. They're going to destroy Bitcoin. They're going to destroy every form of money, leaving you only one option, digital dollar, and it's going to start at zero, and it's all going to be based on your social credit system, your social credit score. And like I told you, when they gave the channels back, every comment that you leave is being farmed. People still leave lots. I get more comments than ever. It's amazing. But I've warned you. I've warned you. I've warned you. But here it comes. Here we go. It's happening. And there's that. So before we get into this kid, Max Azzello, that set himself on fire allegedly to gain attention to the Ponzi Papers, where he was trying to warn people that we are looking at the biggest Ponzi scheme ever created by mankind that will affect every single solitary country and every single solitary person on earth at the same time. Well, it's begun. It's begun. Okay, does it make sense now? Do you see the urgency now? And they're making the moves. So if you're not reading what they're doing in certain financial papers and understanding it, or if you're not hearing it from people like me who are breaking it down to the simplest possible terms I possibly can, I don't use fancy words. There's no need for it. I don't want to pretend to be. I'm telling you what I'm telling you, and I'm backing it up with all their paperwork. You see what I'm saying? They're doing this right now, and we don't know how much longer we got. They're not going to come knock on your door and say, hey, you better get to the bank and get your money out of there because tomorrow morning there ain't going to be no more bank. They've already done all the testing. They tested last year, shutting down all the websites, including banks where everyone's... Don't you think it's strange that all the websites that were affected last year, but the one weird thing was everyone's bank accounts went to zero, but then they went back up? What do you think that was? Well, they just did it again. And 2 times, that's pretty much all you probably need to do. Do you see what I'm saying? So get your money out of the bank now, or don't say you weren't warned. But I'm telling you, live every single day. It's going to be work. You're going to have to stop playing video games. You're going to have to stop watching your favorite shows. When you leave the house, make sure that you have a way to get a hold of somebody other than a cell phone or something. Have a plan. I've been telling you this for over 15 years. Guys, I'm tired. I'm getting older here. I'm tired. But I've been warning you, and the story has stayed the same, except now what I was warning of is actually here. So I'm trying to point it out to the best of my ability without causing people to completely freak out. You see what I'm saying? But they're doing this. This is biblical. I mean, this is biblical. So listen to the story, and I'll leave you the links. You can check them out yourself. But when you check these things out, make this a priority, because this is happening. It's going to affect every single solitary one of us. Period. At any rate.
His name was Max Azzarello, and I only learned about him yesterday. I learned that he died in hospital of self-inflicted injuries. And he really wanted people to read what he wrote. And I went and looked it up, and I read what he wrote. And I found it very interesting. And I thought it was interesting enough to read out loud and share with you. I hope you forgive my poor reading. April 16th, 2023. A post by M. Crosby. This is the Ponzi Papers. Coming soon. Part 1. Welcome to the Rabbit Hole. The Curious Case of Clinkle and a Deeply Unsettling PDF. By M. Crosby. Published April 16th, 2023. Remember that string of bank failures a month ago? I think we got snookered. After the bank run that led to the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, I started pulling at a thread. What if the narrative we were given, that these were issues with regional banking and rising interest rates, wasn't accurate? What if the parties that first told their customers to pull out of SVB wanted to cause a bank run in order to cause the bank's collapse? There are a handful of powerful tech venture capital firms that had the means and opportunity. If they told customers to pull out of the most popular tech VC bank, they could count on word getting out and the smaller VC firms following their lead, leading to the sudden withdrawal of billions of dollars from the bank. But what would possibly be the motive for such a villainous crime? Little did I know, this thread that started last month in Silicon Valley would take me back decades and across continents as I chased the digital paper trail of hedge funds and shell corporations around the globe. It would reveal a perfect storm of criminal activity with an unimaginable number of well-known co-conspirators, from titans of industry to technological whiz-kids, sovereign wealth funds to internet troll farms, esteemed universities to media moguls, heads of state to award-winning reality TV shows, global NGOs to poker websites. It would cast the entire industries in a wretched new light, fraudulent since their inception. It would reveal global dark pools of billions of dollars in stolen wealth, concentrated media campaigns, and international money laundering networks hidden behind nonprofit statuses. As I poured through the interviews, SEC filings, Forbes, Midas lists, and law school case studies, I found myself wishing for a corkboard and some string to help make sense of it all. You would do well to question my sanity, just as I have. As one helpful Quora user writes, when the reality consistently tells you that it does not work in accordance with your understanding of how the universe is supposed to be, take note. This had served as a guiding light for me for the last month. While I didn't want to believe the things I found, the more things sounded like a bad spy thriller, the more our world made sense. From curious donations, public statements, media acquisitions, suspicious travel companions, and high-profile resignations to increased surveillance, soaring inequality and inflation, angry political tribalism, the continual erosion of civic institutions, and the unprecedented collapse of 4 banks in quick succession. The parallels to QAnon can't be helped and will be discussed further in a later entry. But I've found no evidence of adrenochrome or demonic ritual. Rather, these international criminal billionaires appear to have much more mundane motives: money, power, and control. As it turns out, they've gotten far too much of all three. But I don't want you to take my word for it. Join me as we follow these threads together and uncover the artifacts that lurk below the surface of the internet, and paint a truthful picture of what we see, no matter the rot it shows us. We will find things that seem curious and suspicious on their own, and then we will follow the connections that run between them, revealing the largest theft in human history, not yet noticed or prosecuted, that has only grown in scale and power right before our eyes. Back in 2013, a mobile payments company called Clinkle got some major buzz. The startup out of Stanford had just raised $25 million in the largest seed funding round in Silicon Valley history. And they had some really big names attached, each chipping in $1 million or so. Among them were a bunch of tech venture capital firms like Andreessen Horowitz, Intel Capital, and early Facebook investor Accel Partners, but also Intuit accounting software and later Virgin Group, Richard Branson's empire's investment arm. But there were also an unusual number of individuals as opposed to companies. On the tech side, there was venture capitalist Peter Thiel, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff, and a VMware co-founder couple. But there was also Rockefeller family advisor Peter Crisp, former U.S. ambassador to Switzerland Dick Fredericks, Ross Perot Jr., and Stanford professor emeritus Bob Joss. The lead investor, though, is much less well known, a startup accelerator called Summer at Highland. Apparently a summer program from Highland Capital Partners out of Boston and Bay Area. Since Google has trouble with the @ symbol, searching the name yields a whole lot of Billy Joel Summer Highlands Falls. Now, either these tech VCs are no good at search engine optimization or they want to be kept this hidden. Meanwhile, Clinkle doesn't say much about what their technology is or what was able to attract such record-breaking investment. Eventually, they say they'll build an app that uses high-frequency sound to send payments, but they don't even come close, obviously. In 2015, 7 employees quit due to apparent frustration with CEO Lucas Duplan. As Forbes reported, they had layoffs in 2014 and the departure of several high-profile executives. By 2016, it was clear that Clinkle was going nowhere. Photos were leaked of Richard Branson and Duplan setting fake $100 bills on fire back in 2013, and some unnamed investors wanted their money back. What happened here? Was this fraud from the start? Did Clinkle just bilk all these investors and run off with the money? Why did such a diverse group of powerful people invest in a mobile payments app in the first place? We'll get some big answers to these questions in part 2, but for now, let's surface something from deep in the rabbit hole, one of the most important and vile documents in modern world history hidden on a public snooker website. I warn you that it will not take long for you to understand the purpose of this document. This subject matter, child abuse, will repulse you, but it may pale in comparison to the existential dread that will creep in, growing larger with each question you ask. If you continue, your own understanding of the world may change forever. If you browse the website of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, you will come across their page on child protection policies. It sounds reassuring at a glance. Proper vetting and background checks are being done on children's snooker coaches. But if you open the linked PDF, you may begin to wonder why Snooker website has devoted 36 pages to this. If you skim the document, you may find certain passages unsettling. In Section 3, they offer a long list of actions and behaviors that people should take to avoid the appearance of child abuse. For instance, they note that players should maintain a safe and appropriate distance with players. Example, it is not appropriate for personnel to have an intimate relationship with a child. Section 4 outlines detailed descriptions of various types of child abuse, along with actions that World Snooker is prepared to take, such as insisting bullies compensate victims. Section 5 notes that the first contact that should be made if child abuse is suspected is with the World Snooker Child Protection Officer, not police, EMS, or child services. This priority is reflected in 2 flowcharts on how to handle child abuse. It is further clarified that contact with police, social services, or with the victim's parents is on a need-to-know basis only. The document includes pages of discussion around photographs, noting that photos of children can help provide personal information that can be used for grooming them for abuse, and that some people take inappropriate photos of children in vulnerable positions at snooker events. Section 7 notes that disabled children are often easily manipulated and may not recognize inappropriate adult behavior, making them more vulnerable to abuse. As you may have gathered by now, this document is not about snooker and was not written to promote child safety. Rather, this appears to be an instruction manual on how to blackmail someone by gathering evidence that they abused a child. It tells the blackmailer how to best identify children most vulnerable to abuse, how to behave in the presence of these children to separate themselves from abuse allegations, how to identify and collect damning evidence of abuse against the blackmail victim, how to confront the abuser without involving the police, and how to leverage the situation to extract money or resources from the abuser. And it suggests an existence of countless participants in a network of blackmail and child abuse, one with an organizing body and repeatable rules where members are recruited and vetted, and a decentralized online presence. Of course, that couldn't be the case, right? Our world has problems, but a vast blackmail network that doesn't align with reality. It must be a hoax or a misrepresentation. Still, you might find yourself unsettled by the questions you start to ask. Why does this document appear to provide blackmail instructions? What's going on with this snooker organization? And how in the world did researching the bank run lead to this? Next, in part 2, we look at Summer Highland's criminal recruitment tools and the birth of FTX.